The stock market is likely about to top. I'll show you why. Show you my Elliott wave counts up close and personal later in the video. Watch the video all the way through. We're likely going to see top and a reversal. Or about 60-minute chart later. Please support the channel with the link directly below. That allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this. If you could take a moment to step up to the plate and help out, I would really appreciate it. These signals have really helped me. If they've helped you, let me know that. These signals have been absolutely incredible. Calling the bottom, the rally, and now the new all-time highs and likely a top and a pullback that's coming. I'm just showing you the indicators that I use to make my decisions, and they've really helped me. If they've helped you, please take a moment to support the channel. Most channels get sponsors, sell you things. I don't want to do that. I just ask that you step up to the plate, do what you can to help out, but I need to hear from you in order to make that work. Signals have been incredible. If they've helped you, let me know that by supporting the channel today. I thank you for your consideration for that. On Sunday, come back. I'll be talking about weather indicators that I'm not talking about in this video. I'll be showing you the Bollinger Bands. I'll be showing you the sequence counts. They're all suggesting we're about to top and likely get our pullback. Check back, and I'll make a short video for Sunday, so check back. Show you some things that I don't have time to show you in this video. Now, at the bottom, I warned you that we were going to eventually go make new highs. Call the day of the bottom on April 7th with the announcement of the tariffs that week. I told you we were going to, the previous week, I told you we were going to bottom that week. Kramer, the bears, they were telling us we were going to have this Black Monday crash, and it was over. They told us we were going into the next Great Depression. I told you we were going to bottom because we were hitting major support, and the market breadth indicators were in single digits. The fear greed index was in single digits, and sentiment was very negative. What bottoms are made of. And I predicted this rally. I was correct. And I told you we were going to go back up to the 200 period, blow right past it and go make a new high, or pull back and go make a new high. We pulled back, and then we went and we made a new high. When I made that prediction, I was told what a dope I was, called all kinds of names. Everybody told me there's no way that's going to happen. Don't you know we're going to crash? And the herd, they get very bullish at tops, they get very bearish at bottoms. At the top, saying there was no way we're going to go down. And then as the bears were telling us we're about to crash, and Kramer's telling us we're going to have a Black Monday crash, and the bears said, yeah, it's going to be horrible. I said, yeah, that's got to be right. We were told there's no way this rally is going to happen. The rally I predicted at the bottom. Kept telling us, it's a bear market rally. The bear market rally, it's going to be the Moody's downgrade. That didn't do it. It's going to be negative GDP. That didn't do it. It's going to be the tariffs. It's going to be China. It's going to be the EU pulling out, and yada, 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 yada. Thing has taken the market down, and everything I've told you has played out, reaching a new all-time high. We're likely about to top, and I think the top is likely going to be next week, probably a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, more than likely Monday or Tuesday. Because I have the guts to tell you what I think. Very few people will tell you exactly what they think. I do. Risen over 28% since I called the very day of the bottom on April 7th. The tariffs were going to be a buy the news event. Rumor, buy the news. Told you Trump was going to pause them. What happened? Trump was going to pause them. That pause is now coming due. I have other tariff news that's going in negotiations that are now starting to rattle the market. Predicted what Trump did today before he even did it. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Trump is going to rattle the markets. It's going to happen. Trump is likely going to be the catalyst as the pullback. I'll be talking about Trump canceling negotiations with Canada. That rattled markets, probably see a top. But in the next 7 days, he's saying he's going to announce the tariffs on Canada. That is likely going to be the catalyst, or one of the catalysts anyways, for the pullback. Actually, Canada is going to have to come back to the negotiating table because the only other alternative is that they go into recession before everybody else. We're going to eventually have recession, but Canada could beat us all there if they don't come back to the negotiating table. And again, media is telling us it's over, and they're preparing for the trade war, and all the same nonsense that they've said. They continue to try to tell us that we're moving into the next Great Depression. Everything the media tells us, the complete opposite happens. Everything I've told you has happened. I stick my neck out. Right or wrong, I tell you what's going to happen. Even right here, I told you I could be wrong, and we don't come up here and make a new high, which we're now doing. I was right, and reach this trend line as I predicted. I could be wrong about that. I even took steps to protect myself because my momentum signals turned bearish. Turned right back to bullish. We saw a bounce off the 20, a bounce off the 200 period moving average on the 60-minute chart, and we're getting, I believe it's the fifth wave of our first wave higher. If we got above this trend line, then I'm going to be right. If we got rejection at this trend line, then I'll be wrong. I always tell you what I think. I always tell you what could happen if I am wrong, which I did there. Down here, I told you that if I was wrong about the bottom, we have to take out what? The 200 period moving average and horizontal support. We bounced off of it. I told you I was going to be proven correct because I watched support and resistance levels in the weekly and the monthly time frame and here in the daily time frame. We're about to top. I think we're going to probably top next week, and I think you got a good shot of it happening Monday or Tuesday if my count completes. How did I know? Go make new highs because I told you this move was corrective. ABC. The bears needed an impulsive move. They needed another push down, 5-leg push lower, a 3-leg push back up if we're topping out. That's why I told you we're not topping. We're going to go make new highs. And right here, now you have a 5-leg push higher. You're going to pull back and get an ABC for 2. That's corrective. And then you're going to get another big push higher. And this is going to go on several more months. And then we're going to peak, and you're going to get the real top. You're going to get the real recession. You're going to get the real crash in the market that's going to usher in the bear market. This wasn't it. And as I've said, the people that told us this was it and that we are in a recession already and here's the crash, these are the people that told us we're never going to happen. It was never going to happen. With the bears and telling us that we're going to have this lower high and this rally's never going to happen, and that we're completing bear market rally. They've told us that all the way up. Now we're at new highs. They were going to be wrong. They are wrong. The people that told me there's no way everything I predicted at the bottom would happen. Right. So we get a new breakout right here, and we're likely going to do what Bitcoin did. Bitcoin broke out to a new high, and the herd said, it's a breakout. Well, weren't excited about the breakout when I was calling the breakout of the downward trend right there in the back test, and I told you we were going to back test. That was the GDP, the negative GDP data, by the way. We're going to end up going above that 200 period and going and to make new highs. I called a breakout when I told you we had a higher low and a higher high and completed an ABC move. But now that we've come up to the top, the herd, man, on social media, it's a breakout. People, they love to buy tops, and they love to panic sell at bottom. Down here, they were so bearish when I was calling the bottom. Up here, they were telling us there's no way we were going to drop. Right now, they're doing the same. They're telling us it's a breakout, and we're about to sell off. I have great indicators. I have best indicators. My best indicator is the herd because they're so emotional, and as they get so bullish at tops and they get so bearish at bottoms, you usually tell what's going to happen just by what they're saying. They are truly my best indicator. We've had a breakout. Bitcoin broke out above the previous high, and guess what happened? The very next day, it topped. Now, we're about to get the 50 crossing back above the 200 right here. When Bitcoin had that happen, it went up the second day of the breakout, and it topped. You're probably going to see something very similar with the S&P. That's why I think the S&P will peak next week. And plus, we completed the 9 count that I've been warning you about, and I started warning you about that for the NASDAQ and S&P 3 weeks ago. We're on bar 7 for the S&P, then we got bar 8, and now we're on bar 9 3 weeks ago, 3 bars, and we were on bar 8, the NASDAQ, and I told you we are likely going to see that complete on the S&P 500 if I was going to be correct about this, which I've now been proven correct. I did tell you here I could be wrong on here, and we could see this lower high scenario. I was not predicting a lower high scenario, but I warned you that I could be wrong about the higher high scenario above this February peak. I have the guts to tell you what I think, but I'm going to always tell you, hey, if I'm wrong, this could happen. Told you at the bottom, if I'm wrong, support's going to break, and we're going to take out the 200-week moving average. But I was right. Here we are. Everything I predicted has now happened. I think I'm going to be correct about the pullback. I think I'm going to be correct about the top. I think I'm going to be correct that these highs are likely pointing to the next highs. And if we go into the weekly time frame, could be a little bit lower. We could exclude the shadow, and that is near the area we're at right now, or just a little bit higher. So again, I do think whether the trend line here in the daily time frame or excluding the shadow in the weekly time frame, I think you're going to turn off of this trend line and complete the high. But I think you're going to go a little bit higher. You'll see my Elliott wave count. Watch the video all the way through, and you'll see that. Again, Trump's gonna start scaring the pants off everybody again. He did today. You know, I posted this 2.5 hours into the session, and it came true. It's funny. The S&P making new all-time highs. I posted this on X at Charting Prodigy. S&P making new all-time highs as predicted. Expect Trump to say the word tariff in a social media post or in his interview on Sunday. He's going to be on Sunday morning futures on Sunday, and then expect the market to start selling off and pull back. And I added a laugh out loud there. The session didn't even end, and Trump already rattled the market with his tariffs, negotiations with Canada. And I also, after that happened, if Trump were a stock, I'd be a trillionaire. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I tend not to like the political parties because there's so much corruption. But I understand Trump. If Trump was a stock, I would be a trillionaire. I predicted that Trump would rattle markets at the beginning of the trading session. 2 hours later, what's Trump doing? He's rattling the stock market. You know, I'm not in either one of the political parties. I don't like politics because there's so much corruption in it. So I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm not in either one of these political parties. But I do have Trump figured out. That's why I posted that on social media, on X, where he did this, because I figured at the top, Trump's going to rattle the stock market. I think that. And ends the U.S. trade talks. He posted this on social media, that he ended the trade talks with Canada. They informed Canada, they just informed Canada, this is his post on social media, that they are, the United States is hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. Let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within a 7-day period. This is likely going to rattle the market. You got this new prime minister over there. We had the electricity by China when they, or not by China, by Canada when they were trying to retaliate on the United States with the steel and aluminum tariffs and all that. Back down immediately. Now this is a new prime minister. He may not back down immediately. Eventually he'll have to, otherwise he gets to go into recession. His country gets to go into recession before everybody else. I'm going to have people tell me, oh no, there's no way Canada's going to back down. They've already backed down. And you know, I had people saying that to me with China, the same stuff. I had to do it because the final trade deal today with China, by the way, I like that news. China's agreed to the trade deal. People go, well, they wouldn't make a trade deal with Trump, so they think their country won't. Their countries have to. It's a no-brainer. You either go into recession or you make a deal. Simple as that. This is likely going to rattle the markets. Again, if Trump ends up announcing this tariff, then we'll see what the prime minister does. Trump announces a high tariff on Canada, which he's probably going to, like he did with China. Eventually, they'll cave. Eventually, China caved. The media already out here telling, here comes the trade war. Just the same stuff they told us with China, the same stuff they told us with Trump's reciprocal tariffs, repeating the same stuff that they said before, the same stuff that was wrong. This is, no, there's no way the states are now preparing for the trade war. And seeing articles about it. I'm already seeing stuff about it. One thing I could tell you is everything the media says, the complete opposite happens. Always get it wrong. This is the potentially catalyst. This could be the catalyst. Trump could be the catalyst that rattles the market within the next 7 days. He could do that right before the Independence Day holiday. We're going to have a short trading week next week here in the United States. We'll have the markets closed, and it might be a short trading day the Thursday before, too. Sure, I haven't checked. Markets, we could see Trump announce this just before Independence Day holiday, after the markets are closed or something on Thursday. Could see it happen over the weekend, going into the trading week after the Independence Day holiday, after July 4th. Could rattle markets. Canada is announcing a digital service tax on American technology companies. Doing this as they're trying to negotiate and get some kind of deal with the United States. And Trump say, hey, this is what Europe did. Canada at some point is going to come to the realization that either they go into recession or they go to the negotiating table. Again, the exports into Canada are very, very small for the United States, just a small percentage, whereas the exports into the United States from Canada, majority of their exports go to the United States. This is a potential catalyst, this announcement that we're going to get in the next 7 days. Sooner rather than later with Trump, we may see it delayed just before or after Independence Day. We'll see what happens. Be the catalyst. And then eventually, the new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, will eventually to come back to the negotiating table. Told again, this is never going to happen, and all the other same nonsense that the media always tells us. But this is possibly going to be the catalyst or one of the catalysts for the pullback. So I think you're going to see the market peak next week. That's likely going to be Monday or Tuesday. I'll show you my Elliott wave count on the 60-minute chart in a second, but I just want to say this, that I'm going to be selling my positions next week in all likelihood on Monday or Tuesday. About doing it today, and didn't because I still think the 5-leg push is under construction, and I think like Bitcoin, you're gonna get a close above the previous high for a day or two, and then you're gonna sell off. So I think you got a good shot that we're gonna have the peak either Monday or Tuesday. Just giving you a heads up. I gave you a heads up. I might sell my positions over here short if momentum turned bearish. Now again, my trend signals have been bullish. I warned you I might do that before I did it. Here, I'm warning you, I'm telling you, I'm probably going to take profits. That's not a recommendation to buy or sell anything to anybody. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I told you down here at the bottom what I was doing. Buying support and selling resistance. Now, I told you here, again, a week ago, you're wrong about the new high. If momentum turned, we saw momentum turn on that Friday on a hold over the weekend. So I told you I took steps to protect myself, but I told you I'd buy my position right back. Got above the trend line if we saw above this previous high, which we did with futures. We bounced off that 20-period moving average to 200 in the 60-minute time frame. But I told you the upside is going to be limited. I warned you, again, wrong about the higher high, and that could flip at my trend signals. I buy it back, sell into the rally, and that the upside would be limited. Here we are on the upside. And again, rally is likely going to come to a conclusion. So I'm just telling you, I'm likely going to sell my position next week. About doing it today. I'm telling you that I'm going to likely do it next week. I'll probably do it Monday or Tuesday because I think that's where the top is going to be. And I think it could be Monday, just like Bitcoin. You get a close above this level and you peak the very next day or maybe Tuesday or something like that. And then you begin to pull back. So I think Monday or Tuesday, you're going to have a peak in the market in all likelihood. Could I be wrong? Yep, I could be completely wrong. I have the guts to tell you what I think. I'm a trader. Got most of this move up here. I'm looking to take profits. Protected myself here. Turned right back to bullish because, again, I'm trying to be disciplined. Warned you, again, if this was going to be a peak, signals had to turn bearish, and my trend signals did not. Only momentum turned. Getting the move that I predicted back at the bottom, my original thesis, happening. Had I been wrong, we would have sold off. But I ended up being right. Guts to tell you what I think. I always also tell you what could happen if I am wrong. So it is my intention to close my position next week, and I'll probably do it Monday or Tuesday, and I'll be flipping the trade, and I'll be going short. Again, I'm a trader. I'm just trying to play these moves. I'm trying to play the wave 1, trying to play the wave 2, and then I'm going to go long again and try to play the wave 3, just trading it back and forth. Same with the NASDAQ. I plan on closing my long positions next week, and I thought about doing it today. Here's why I didn't do it today, and I posted this chart on X, formerly Twitter, at Charting Prodigy. I posted this so people could see what I was thinking. This is why I didn't close my position today, why I'm going to close my position early next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. I still think a divergence is going to form here on the RSI. That we got with Trump's announcement that he's terminating negotiations with Canada gave us the sell-off. We had a rally. We got the deal completed with China. S&P's making new all-time highs. Bird starts cheerleading as we make new highs, but I told you we're likely going to get the top. Trump comes out, and I think Trump's going to rattle markets in the coming days ahead. We're going to sell off in July for a few weeks, and then, I think we'll bottom. This is why I didn't sell into the rally today, even though we were making new highs. I still think we're probably going to see something like Bitcoin where we peak the day after the new highs, or maybe 2 days after the new highs. It'll be Monday or Tuesday, but I do think it will be a top. Bitcoin's already peaked and began to pull back. Peaked back on May 22nd. The market, several weeks behind Bitcoin, just like when Bitcoin peaked in January, the market peaked in February. You see what I'm saying? Bitcoin is the leader of the pack. Markets would follow Bitcoin to new highs. Oh, what happened? We got a new high today. I was right. Bitcoin's been selling off, and it's probably not over yet. You can see my latest Bitcoin video at the end of this one. We're going to get this corrective move in the market. Bitcoin will bottom first, and then the market will eventually bottom, and Bitcoin will continue to be the leader. It's the asset with the most volatility, and that's why you tend to see it peak first, and you tend to see it be the leader, up and down. This is why I think we're getting this 5-leg push higher, and again, maybe we get closer to that trend line I talked about. I've just marked this here on the 60-minute chart, the trend line that I've talked about on the 60-minute chart. And the daily chart here, again, I told you these highs, previous highs back in December, January, February, could be pointing to the next high. We're within striking distance of that. NASDAQ's overthrowing it right now. So I think that's very, very, very possible. I think this divergence on the MACD is going to play out here in the following week, and I think you will get a peak in the market and begin to get this sell-off. Could be that Trump is the catalyst once again. I was watching this divergence during the market session and gave us a sell-off, which I think is wave 4. I think you're going to push on higher and get a wave 5, and then, again, that could go even higher than I've marked right here, towards that trend line in the daily time frame. So you could see this larger divergence, and then come Monday and then begin to sell off at some point next week. But we could see a peak either Monday or Tuesday of next week, possibly Wednesday. I guess you'll likely see it on Monday or Tuesday. That on the 15-minute chart was this right here on the 60-minute chart up close. I think the end is near, the end of the rally that I predicted back at the bottom. I think it's coming to a conclusion. I think you'll get the pullback. I think we go much higher. Longer term, I'm bullish, even though I think we are going to top and pull back. It's true for the NASDAQ. I think you're going to get this divergence that's developing here, like some of these other divergences that we had over here and over here, back over here at the peak and back over here at the February peak. I think you're going to have a divergence that looks very similar to the February peak right there. And I think you'll complete that Monday or Tuesday, and then I think you're going to get your sell-off. 60-minute chart of the NASDAQ. And again, you got the same count going here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I think you're getting 5. And this is why, again, I didn't sell on Friday. I told you earlier in the week I might sell if we make the new highs, if I think we're going to peak. But again, NASDAQ's already made the new high. We're pulling back, overthrowing the dotted trend line right here. I think you're going to push above it, and then I think you're going to get that reversal. And I'm planning on closing my positions Monday or Tuesday. That's not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. I'm not telling anybody to do that. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. I could be completely wrong. I was right about the bottom. I was right about the rally. I was right about the new highs, and lock in gains on all my long positions and go short. Probably going to do that Monday or Tuesday, and this looks like it completes on Monday. Then it'll be Monday. But it'll probably complete by Tuesday by the latest, in my opinion. NASDAQ was up 87 points. It was up 0.39%. Again, told you we were going to come up here, make a new high. We did that a few days ago, get the bullish golden cross. We did that. Reach this trend line, and I told you we can even overthrow the trend line right here from these previous highs in December and February on the NASDAQ. If the S&P tries to go to reach this trend line, you might overthrow this level. We're doing that now. You get a candle of indecision today in the form of a spinning top. You're going to see NVIDIA also pull back. Tech companies, Canada's talking about this tech tariff. Again, is probably going to rattle the tech stocks. In my opinion, when Trump announces this tariffs, we're seeing concerns that we're going to get this Canadian technology tariff. Maybe that's the catalyst. I think we're going to eventually pull back to these trending clouds. They take out the 10 and 20 period moving average and drop back below the momentum cloud that you see right there. But again, we could go a little bit higher, but I do think you're going to peak here, all likelihood next week. We're seeing the MACD turn back up here on the NASDAQ as well. I've talked about this. Again, we talked about the divergence, and I told you that if I was wrong about making new highs, that we would see this divergence play out. We'd break the 20-period moving average. We bounced off that level, gapped higher. So you're probably going to now come back and fill this gap. You've got gap way down here that I think will eventually get filled, and you'll come back into this area. And I probably didn't put that low enough. I do think you're going to come back and fill that gap, and that's where I think we're going to see the Fibonacci's tagged and where we're going to bottom. Here, ABC down, 5-leg push higher. You see the bears have a real problem. We have a 3-leg push down, a 5-leg push up. Again, that is impulsive move higher. Means we're likely going to get an ABC correction, a higher low. But I've been telling you over here, again, we have an ABC corrective. It means we're going higher. Oh, what are we doing? We're going higher. Not rocket science. Told you the bears were going to be wrong down at the bottom, but this divergence is likely going to give us a top here in the next few days. Now, could I be wrong about top being next week? Yeah, I could be wrong. My signals are still bullish, but I'm just telling you, we could see a top and then quickly see momentum turn, and then see the trend signals, see my signals begin to turn back to bearish. So the divergences that I've talked about, like on the MACD and the Awesome Oscillator, RSI,